Hey, how's it going, everybody? In this video, we're going to be talking about our HUD settings for Ninja and just general tips to help out with the HUD in any way. Obviously, this isn't a one-way only guide. You can do whatever you want with your HUD. I'm just going to share mine and start a discussion on what would be your future HUD potentially. So let's go ahead and showcase a lot of this. A lot of the options that we have set here. This isn't just for Ninja, generally speaking, but it is primarily focused on Ninja, my keybinds anyway. I made it in such a way that is comfortable for me to reach. I have long fingers, guys, so I can reach far, but not too far to the point where it's like in the middle of the keyboard to the right. So anything from F6 and down, I can comfortably reach it, but it's about motion of fluidity, like how fluid would you be. So that's why I use the Alt modifier. The Alt modifier is, I use it from 1 to 5. So I press Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I also use Alt Q, E, R, T, F, and C. I also use Alt G, which you can keybind to Alt Z if you want. Now, this is all obviously under the idea that you're comfortable with using a modifier for rotation, right? But what I actually do is I keep my roll actions for melee all from Alt Q to Alt F. So they're always there for all the melees that I play. I find it very comfortable. I don't really have trouble pressing these while I'm in motion. When I'm moving, it's really nice to use your thumb to hold down Alt. So even when I'm moving, I maintain motion. So even sideways, I can move to the sideways and like activate Bloodbath, stuff like that. Using Alt modifier allows me to maintain motion and keeps me going, which I really like. I'm gonna go ahead and teleport to a dummy just to showcase things a little bit better. Okay, so here we are at Yanxia. I just wanted to showcase some things on the dummy as well in regards to motion and keybinds. Now remember that keybinds are personal preference. If you have a mouse and you have multiple mouse buttons, I know it sounded weird. If you have a mouse, are you gaming on a mouse? But yeah, if you have multiple mouse buttons, you can use those freely if you wish. Remember that this is completely personal preference. For me, personally, I don't like using the mouse buttons. Like, I don't like having multiple of them, kind of like on the side to do a rotation and stuff. Especially on a fast-paced class like Ninja, I like to use my keyboard to actually press the buttons. The only thing I use my mouse button for is sprint. Okay, so I use F1 to F5. The one I really like the most is F3 for Shikuchi. I use F3 on Shikuchi. I use my middle finger and I reach out like this, and then I just double tap it. Right, it's really fluid for me, and I can move really fast with it. I use F1 for Mug and Trick for 4. So I don't keep them together. Usually my 5s are always defensives across all melee jobs, and my 6 is always second wind. My AoE is Y, so I use the Y key for AoE, and then Alt 5 for Hake Mujinsatsu. TCJ is Alt 1, Meisui is Alt 2. It makes the rotation really smooth to just to have Alt modifier on 1 and 2 for these. And you'll see here with Alien, I do 1, 2, and then 3. So I can be like 1, 2, and then I get to choose between Alt 3 or 3. It's very simple, right? So if I want an Alien, I just press 3. If I want to Armor Crush, I just go to the side, Armor Crush. There you go. And just like that, it works for me. It's very smooth, and it gets the job done for me. So I can just Armor Crush. That's it. That's simple. The GCDs are very easy here to manage. I kind of just have them in an L shape. It just makes things simple for me. Throwing daggers, I use them on Alt 4. I like to maintain motion while throwing daggers. I can just do this. Maintain motion. See, I'm keeping motion. Every position I go, I'm maintaining motion. There isn't a scenario where I have to stop, hold down Alt, and then forward. I can keep moving. As long as you make keybinds or set keybinds where you're able to continuously move and cast, that's going to be key. Especially if you're obviously playing jobs that don't require long casting, for example. But I want to talk about the most important thing, mudras. The mudras are the most important thing to have keybinds for that feel nice, that feel fluid, and not going to interrupt your movement. So the way I do it is QER. I consider these absolutely fundamental to have good keybinds for, because no matter what position you're running to, you want to be able to cast your Q, E, and R all properly, and then you press ninjutsu with X. So you would press X as the execution for the ninjutsu. So why is this fluid for me? Because if you look at your keyboard, QER is next to WASD, which is your general movement, right? And X is right under S. So it's like I just boom, 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 right? X. See, I'm maintaining motion. It's all compact in one area, the ninjutsus and the mudras. And that's key. So for me, at least, I like to have the keybind set that way, and I can continuously have my motion going. I'm never stopping. Why do I emphasize so much on movement? Because as you guys know, mechanics happen in boss fights and stuff, and if you're just sitting there standing still casting just to get the cast off while you're sitting in an AoE, you're gonna get blasted, right? So the way I like to do it, like QER, Suton, right? Or QE, Reiton, Asatsu, Ryu, just like that. See, my motion is continuous. I'm never stopping. F2 for Raiju, very easy for me. I like to have it on F2, and I like to have C and V together, like this for Raiju Bava, because you're gonna press these a lot for inside your trick windows. And I have Dream Within a Dream on Z, so all of it is really close. C, V, and Z. You're gonna be casting those a lot. So I'll show a case like, for example, a rotation. Like I would, for example, cast Suton. I don't have Kasatsu right now because the rotation would consist of it. And like, let's say, you know, I get my mug trick in, right? Reiton, Duad, Raiju Baba, TCJ, like Pet Chi, Jin, Maesui, Raiju Baba. It all feels right. And the best part is it's all compact in one area on your keyboard. You're not reaching out far enough. It's compact. The way I press Dream Within a Dream, if you're curious, by the way, your finger placement is obviously going to matter how you press these buttons. So if you're literally moving your entire hand and using your index finger to press Z, you're putting your hand in an awkward position, and that's going to force it to kind of mess up, right? What I do is I actually use my ring finger to press Z. I think it's called ring finger, yeah. It's the finger next to your pinky finger, okay? So I use my ring finger to press Z. My middle finger is on W when I'm moving, and I press my Z using my ring finger, and it feels very, very fluid. And I press Z and V with my index finger, so that's kind of very comfortable keybinds for me. Kasatsu's on G. It just feels really, really nice to have next to Bunshin. And I like pressing G now for Kasatsu. I've gotten used to it. Obviously, feel free to do whatever you want with that. But yeah, pretty much those are the keybinds that I set, and I'm very comfortable with those. Now we're going to be talking about the HUD in general. So here's my HUD, and this is how it looks. This is my quote-unquote raid HUD. I have the party list on the left. I have the LB bar here, but you can move it however way you want. You'll notice that I have status info, target info progress bar, and status info enhancements all separate, all split up. You can cut these up which is really nice. If you click on any of the status info, for example, let's go with target info. If we click on target info and then go here, you have the option to display target info independently. And you want to do that because you want to be able to customize the HUD neatly and place where you want. And here's my scaling. Target info 90%, status 90%. So the HP is 90%, status 90%. The progress bar, I keep it a big 180% because that's going to be crucial. You want to be able to see the progress bar as visible as possible to be able to avoid mechanics. So you definitely want to have progress bar large. And I put it right under the boss's health bar. There's one thing I would do for you if you're doing enhancements changes. The absolute best thing that you can do with this is display on display settings, prioritize own enhancements. Enable this. The reason this is good is it will always put your own buffs at the beginning and then your ally buffs after. You can also split this into 4 groups, so you can cut it out and make it so that only your buffs show here and the ally buffs as a separate box that you can place anywhere. I like to keep everything in one place, so I just use prioritize on enhancements, so I know my buffs will always be on the left from my personal buffs. Like my Mudra charge, when it counts down the 6 seconds from countdown, I would look at my buff. Like I would know when it's up. I will look at my bunch and stacks. I will know how many are left because they're always at the beginning of your enhancements. So I definitely recommend you split it into 3 groups or 4 groups depending on your preference. Here are my scalings. I have 100% size on enhancement, 120% on enfleetments, because enfleetments are really important. They're the debuffs that you get. For example, if you're playing, let's give an example here, UCOB Nail, you want to see if you have Doom, so you want to keep an eye out on that. I have it on 120. Now I don't keep this big enough where it's like intrusive on my screen because I'm compact. I like to play Final Fantasy in a compact manner. I don't like to have things too big, but I also don't like to have things too small. I like to keep it in a decent size where it's not intrusive for me. And of course, status info others doesn't actually matter. I would recommend you move status info others somewhere else other than the main info. Like I keep it all the way up here on the top left because it doesn't matter. It's just like pots, food. Sorry, not pots. Just like food buff, FC buffs go there. It's stuff that isn't combat focused. Just make sure you refresh your food and you look there every few pulls to make sure your food is up, and that's it. But it's not combat focused, so I wouldn't personally put it where all the stuff is here, like all the important stuff. My progress bar is here, like target info, status, enemy debuffs, enfleetments, all this stuff. This is how it looks for me, okay? And you can see also the parameter bar, I make it small and I put the buffs above the parameter bar. I personally like to do that because I like to see my own buffs on top of my health, and it just makes sense to me. Coming from like League of Legends and other games that I've played, like my buffs are always next to my health in a sense. So for me, it makes sense to have it displayed this way. But you can do whatever you wish. Huton gauge and Ninki gauge, your job gauges, do whatever you wish with them. I keep them on the right, kind of nicely neat there. Keeps my attention there since I'm looking down here a lot. This helps a lot. Now, you'll notice I keep a lot of stuff in one area. Why is that? This makes it so that my eyes aren't all over the place. Okay, if I'm looking up, left, right, down, like, oh my god, I'm looking everywhere. And with here, you have all the combat info in one secluded area, so you can pay attention to mechanics and not have it be too intrusive. So you can pay attention to the boss, look at your mechanics, look at your rotation, look down, see with the stuff, the information that you have, buffs, blah, 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 enfleetments, it's all compact. Party list, you can move it anywhere you wish. I like to keep it on the left here, and I like to scale it. I like to scale it to 90. I don't like it to be too big. I think 100 looks too big for me. I just keep it on 90%. I feel like that's solid. And yeah, I like it just chilling right there. But you can do whatever you want with the party list. You can also make it show more buffs on allies and stuff. I have mine on like show 5 buffs. I feel like that's decent enough. I look at my own buffs mainly anyway, and I look at the party list whenever I see enemy debuffs. or rather debuffs that are applied on my team. I look at it through there very easily. The debuffs are always taking priority, so you will always see debuffs first in the party list and then the buffs. So you will always know who has the debuffs very easily that way. So I think that's neat. Focus target bar, doesn't matter where you place it. I kind of just have it on the left there. I never actually use it. I don't even use it on Dragoon. On Dragoon, I use mouse over for Dragon Sight for the macro. So focus target bar is still an option though. If you want to use it for Dragoon macro, you can make it so that whoever is focused on target bar will get the buff. So you can do macro for that. And the enemy list, I keep it on the right here. I like to keep the hotbar 4 and hotbar 5 very, very tiny, very, very small. I don't want it to be too intrusive, right? These are things that I'm going to put like timers, countdown, ready check, food, pots. This is where I use my pot as well. I press Control 1 to use the pot. It's the first hotbar on hotbar 4. So I feel like that works for me. I don't like it to be too big, especially when it's like insignificant to the actual fight. So I like to keep it like this. Main menu, I keep it small. And the mini map, you're probably wondering, like, why did I move it bottom right and why is it not top right? The reason I like it at the bottom right, I come from League of Legends. I've played League of Legends for years, and my brain instinctively looks to the bottom right. And the minimap is an important tool for finding out information. Like, I don't just rely on way markers, I rely on the minimap sometimes. And I would position myself based on the minimap sometimes. I would look at the minimap of like northeast, I look at the map northeast, I move. And you will notice it's close towards the bottom. I keep things compact, very, very nice. And here's my minimap size at 110. I make it big because bigger minimap means your eyes will look at the information very, very easily. I like to scale it up just a bit. Not too big where it's like crazy big, but 110 I think is a great size. I also, you will notice that there is one cool macro that I can tell you, is I have this. Where are my jobs? How do I switch jobs, you know? Like, let's say I want to play Dragoon raiding, you know? How do I go here and do this? You know, it's too much hassle, right? So obviously I make it compact in a way where I click this and it shows all my jobs in a very small, like 2 hotbars here and then 1 in crafters. So if I want to play crafters, you know, I can choose a crafter here, close it. It's a toggle option, and it's really, really nice. I will showcase the macro now. This will improve your HUD. Less clutter, less shit on your screen. It makes life so nice when raiding. Less shit on your screen just means you're gonna be less, it's less intrusive on your eyes. And here's the macro for it. It is jobs. This is the one for jobs that I have. /hotbar display 7 toggle /hotbar display 8 toggle. Just make sure you have the toggle option there. This will make it so that when you click it, it's going to display it or hide it. So you literally just go in your HUD, you press the 7 one, so let's go on HUD right now. We go to HUD, and this is hotbar number 7. I would just move it close here to where I click on jobs, and it would showcase right here. So hotbar 7 and 8, those are macroed. Hotbar 9, that's macroed for crafters. I find that to be very, very neat, and not very intrusive, not very in my face. And I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a lifesaver for your HUD design, because otherwise it'd be so intrusive, right? Big time. The duty list and server info, I keep it at the top right. I make the duty list fairly small, by the way, because I feel like it's too big by default. So I scale it down to 80%, and I only make it to only show one duty there, because honestly, I don't like to have like when I'm raiding like 3 quests, 5 quests, 4 quests showing here. You can just you know, when you enter a raid instance, it will just remove it. It will show the other one where you're in instance, but the blue quests will disappear. So here's the thing, I use this duty macro, which removes the main menu, XP bar, and guild. So you can also macro this. I think it's also a toggle, which is really, really nice. So here's the duty one. HUD slash HUD guild toggle, slash HUD main menu toggle, slash HUD experience bar toggle. Now all these macros I'm going to be putting in the comments section so you can copy paste them. Okay, so this is like when I'm in a duty. Also, the most important thing that I have here is under character configuration, under display, or was it UI? I think it was UI. Under, yeah, UI HUD. Okay, here's a really, really good thing you want to toggle. Duty, hide duty list during a non-instance duty, and hide list duty during instant duties. So let's go ahead and enter an instance right now just to kind of showcase what I mean. So let's go unrestricted party in Eden, right? I'm gonna pick one of my favorite fights, of course. I love E4S. It's my favorite fight ever. So you'll see here on the top right, when we enter the instance, the blue quest isn't gonna show there. Instead, it simply shows the duty information and the time left. So I find that to be really, really nice. So make sure you hide the blue quests so they don't show in your top right, because I feel like personally it's kind of intrusive and in my face. So I like to keep this hide duty list during non-instance duties and hide duty list during instance duties. Keep this option on, and it's gonna be great. So every time you're in an instance, it's just gonna hide it. You can also hide the duty information here if you want, but personally I wouldn't do that, just so you know how much time you have left in the instance. I feel like that makes sense. So just hide duty list for the blue quest and you're pretty much good. Overall, it's good for raiding, it's good for ultimate, savage, just typical raiding. You want to have less shit on your screen. You want to zoom out all the way. You want to see a lot of the screen. You want to see what's going on. You want to do those Shikuchi gamer moves, right? You want to play like a gamer, all right? To play like a gamer, a clean HUD makes a good raider. So always keep an eye out for these things. Make your HUD compact, and you'll have a better overall experience during raids and all that, pretty much. So that's pretty much it for the HUD and the ninja, kind of like extra ninja stuff that I pointed out. The keybinds, so those are my typical keybinds right here. And yeah, I hope you guys have yourselves a good one. I hope this video helped out, and best of luck in the raiding scene, everybody. Catch you around. Peace out. Love you guys.